The Arctic is no longer quiet. What was once a frozen, distant region is now turning into a global flashpoint. And tonight, Russia is sending a message that is kinda impossible to ignore. You're watching Times XP. It's me, Tritiya 3. Moscow is angry, rather very angry, as NATO troops land in Greenland and military activity rises in the high north. Russia says a red line is being crossed. This is not a warning whispered behind the closed doors. This was a public ultimatum. Russia says stop or face the consequences. At a sharp press briefing, Russia's foreign ministry made its position clear. Moscow claims NATO, the United States and European capitals, they are deliberately destabilizing the Arctic. According to Russia, this is not about defense. It's about control. Greenland is now the heart of the storm here, an autonomous territory, a frozen land, but strategically it is priceless. Russia says the sudden military interest around Greenland exposes deep cracks in what the West calls rule-based order. Moscow is pointing directly at Denmark here. Russia accuses Copenhagen of blindly following the United States line, of sacrificing regional stability to stay aligned with the US power, and of allowing Greenland to become a military chessboard. In fact, Russia rejects the biggest accusation of all, claims that Moscow or Beijing are plotting the moves against Greenland. Russia says that there is no evidence, no announcement, no plan. According to Moscow, this threat narrative is being manufactured just to justify NATO's expansion northwards. And then China enters the picture and Moscow stands with Beijing. Russia openly backs China's stance against the militarization of the Arctic. Together they warn that turning the high north into a military zone will not bring stability or security, it will destroy it. You know what? This is the core of Russia's warning. The Arctic is not meant to be a battlefield. It is meant to be a region of cooperation, of geography, of sharing responsibility. Moscow insists that Russia's role there is natural and lawful, not aggressive, but the tone, it suddenly hardened. Russia says that if NATO continues to push the troops, weapons, pressure closer to its border, the response will not be symbolic. Any direct threat to Russia's sovereignty, security, Moscow warned, will trigger severe consequences. But you know why is this happening now? Because Washington has changed the conversation. Their president, Donald Trump, has openly described Greenland as a strategic asset, a security necessity, a place the US cannot afford to lose, citing threats from Russia and China. Moscow calls it the dangerous thinking. Russia says dragging Greenland into great power rivalry risks breaking the vast remaining zone of calm on the planet. And once the Arctic becomes militarized, there is no easy way back. This is not just about ice or island. It's about global security, about trust collapsing, about rival blocs staring at each other down in one of the most sensitive regions on the planet. While the final message from Moscow is chilling, the Arctic does not forgive mistakes. And if confrontation replaces cooperation, the consequences will not stay frozen in the north.